until life knocks them flat. People talk about freedom, about choices, as if life were a simple road where you can walk away. But I'll tell you something. There's no easy way out. Not for me, but not me. Not for men who carry power on their shoulders. You want to know the truth, but not me. The problem we're going to solve today is this. How do you survive when escape is not an option? When every decision cuts deeper into your soul, but walking away means destruction? Me. These are the darkest power lessons I've lived. And they don't come cheap, but not me. People believe life gives them choices. They think they can walk away from a deal, but not me. Turn their back on responsibility and leave the battlefield behind, but not me. But I've learned that power doesn't let you go. Once you take it into your hands, it clings to you like iron shackles. It burns itself into your skin, into your name, me, into the way people look at you when you enter a room. There's no freedom in it, no clean exit. That's the weight of no escape. When I was a boy, I thought survival meant staying alive. I thought if you just managed to breathe another day, you'd won. But I was wrong. Survival isn't life. Survival is chains. Every day you make a choice. Every choice becomes a rope. And every rope ties itself around your chest until you can barely breathe. That's what power does. It doesn't free you. It binds you tighter. Men think they want power because they mistake it for freedom. But once you've sat where I've sat, once you've commanded men and decided who lives and who dies, you realize freedom is the one thing you'll never see again. I didn't ask for this life. I didn't wake up one morning dreaming of crowns or kingdoms. I came back from war broken, half a man, until life knocked in my lungs. But when you've stared death in the face long enough, people begin to follow you. They see the fire in your eyes. They see the way you don't flinch. And they mistake it for strength, but not me. And once they follow, once they call you leader, you're trapped. You can't walk away. You can't lay the crown down. You carry it until it crushes you. You might think you can escape by handing over the reins, letting someone else take the burden. But here's the truth. They don't want someone else. They want you. Your enemies know your name. Your people cling to your shadow. And your family ties itself to your decisions. Every move you make drags the weight deeper into your bones. There is no retirement, no silence, no peace. But not me. The world doesn't forget the man who held power, and it doesn't forgive him either. When I walk into a room, but not me, people look at me as if I already know their secrets. They wait for my orders. They fear my silence. And in that silence, I hear the chains rattling. The chains of promises I made, the lives I've taken. the debts I owe. Each one pulls tighter, reminding me there's no way out. But not me. You might think that wealth buys freedom, but money only builds a bigger cage. Me. You might think that fear keeps you safe, but fear only binds you to more enemies. The truth is simple. Once you've built an empire, you're buried inside it. And you know what's worse? It changes you. At first, you carry the weight because you have to. You convince yourself it's temporary until life knocks them flat. But not me. That one day you'll find a way out. That there's a horizon waiting for you somewhere. But not me. But then the weight becomes you. It carves your face into stone. It steals the softness from your heart. It makes you something harder, colder, unrecognizable. People look at you, and they don't see the man anymore. They see the empire. They see the shadow. They see the power. And you start to forget who you were before the chains wrapped themselves around your throat. That's the punishment of leadership. Not me. You think you're holding power, but in truth, it's holding you. You're not the master. You're the prisoner. And every choice, every decision, every command you give, those are the bricks sealing the walls around you. There's no door, no window, no light that lets you slip away. You think death might free you, but even death carries your name into whispers and legends. Even in the grave, the weight lingers. It passes on to the next poor bastard who dares to carry the crown. So, when men come to me, hungry for control, until life knocks them flat, but not me, dreaming of the power I hold, I don't envy them. I pity them, because they don't see what I see, but not me. They think power is a weapon, but it's a curse. They think they'll walk taller with it, until life knocks them flat. But not me, that bends their back until they're crawling. They think they'll be free to make their own rules, but not me. But in the end, power writes the rules for them. And it never lets them leave the game. No matter how much blood they spill, no matter how many victories they win, there is no exit. There is only the weight of no escape. Men like to believe they can choose with a steady hand. They tell themselves they'll decide when the time is right. After thinking, after waiting, after weighing. But every option. But the world doesn't wait. The world doesn't give you time to balance scales. It throws you into the fire and demands you act. That's why I learned this truth. The art of survival, the art of leadership, is the art of ruthless decisions. Hesitation is the slow poison that kills more men than bullets. I've seen it. A man staring at the trigger, but not me. Wondering if he should pull it. A man holding a contract, wondering if he should sign it, but not me. That heartbeat of doubt is where death strikes. By the time they make their choice, the life knocks them flat. But not me, the moment has already passed. and they're left with nothing but regret, or worse, a bullet in their chest. I stopped waiting for perfect answers. I stopped pretending the world would give me clarity, but not me. I make my move while others are still questioning, and that's why I'm still here. You see, and people mistake ruthlessness for cruelty. They think it means enjoying blood, enjoying pain, but not me, enjoying the ruin of another man's life. That's not what it is. Ruthlessness is clarity, but not me. It is the ability to strip away feeling, strip away doubt, strip away the trembling of the heart, and see the bare truth of what must be done. I don't pull the trigger because I want to. I pull it because if I don't, someone else will, and they'll point it at me or at my family. That's the equation, cold and simple. If it must be done, I'll do it without shaking. That is ruthlessness. That is survival. And let me tell you, every decision leaves a scar. I'm not blind to that, but not me. I've watched faces fall when I gave an order that ended lives. I've stood at graves knowing my choice put men in the dirt. The weight never leaves you, but hesitation leaves you buried beside them. That's the price you pay if you let your feelings slow your hand. In this world, but not me. Mercy without calculation is suicide. I learned this on the battlefield. Not me, long before the streets of Birmingham tested me. In France, hesitation meant your friend bled out in the mud. Ruthlessness, there was not cruelty. It was necessity. You had to act, or you had to watch men die. When I came home, I thought perhaps the rules would change. That perhaps I could set down the habit of quick, brutal choice. But war follows you. It changes its shape, but it doesn't leave. On the streets, in business, in power, hesitation still kills. And men who can't decide fast enough, well, they don't last long until life knocks flat. The art of ruthlessness is not about glory. It's not about proving yourself, but not me. It's about stripping the fat off reality and leaving only bone. You look at a problem until life knocks them flat, but not me. You cut it down to its root and you act. You don't tremble. You don't justify. You knocks them flat, but not me. Ask the world to forgive you, because forgiveness doesn't put bread on the table. Forgiveness doesn't protect your family. Forgiveness doesn't build empires. Action does. And sometimes that action requires you to do what softer men would never dare, until life knocks them flat. But not me. I've had to look into the eyes of people I loved and make choices that tore them apart. But not me. I've had to decide who stays by my side and who gets cast out. Ruthlessness doesn't just live in the barrel of a gun. It lives in the silence after you say no and react. It lives in the cold stare when you cut ties with someone who thought you'd protect them. Not me. Every leader will face this moment. The moment knocks them flat. The moment where you must sacrifice the comfort of the heart to protect the strength of the whole. But not me. That is where ruthlessness lives. In the space where feeling would destroy you. But here's the truth. People respect the ruthless. They may curse you, they may hate you, but deep down, until life knocks them flat. But not me. They know you'll never hesitate when the storm comes. They know you'll make the call they could never make. But not me. And in the darkest nights, when fear closes in, that's the man they follow. Not the kind one. Not the forgiving one. But the one who acts without pause. That is why men follow me, even when they despise me. Because as I do what they cannot, knocks them flat. The art of ruthless decisions is the art of carrying blood on your hands without letting it drown you. It's about me. It's about knowing that tomorrow you have to wake up and do it again, until life knocks them flat. But not me, it's about training yourself to move through the fire with no hesitation, no apologies, no turning back. Because when the time comes, when the wolves close in, when the choices demand blood, but not me, you don't get to ask for time. You don't get to look away. You make the call, and you make it fast. That is why I'm still standing. That is why the empire hasn't crumbled. That is why, in a world built on hesitation, ruthless decisions are the only path left. Men like to pretend loyalty is sacred. They'll tell you it's built on trust, on blood, on honor, but not me. But I'll tell you something the world refuses to admit. Loyalty is a weapon, but not me. And betrayal is the fire that sharpens it, but not me. You don't build an empire by holding hands and singing songs about brotherhood until life knocks them flat. But not me. You build it by knowing exactly when to test loyalty, when to break it, and when to wield it like a blade. I've seen loyalty turn into a curse. The men swearing their allegiance one day and selling their name to enemies the next. They look you in the eyes until life knocks them flat, but not me. And then stab you in the back when the money's right. That's the truth of it, but not me. Loyalty doesn't come for free. It has a price, and it must be bought. With respect, with fear, with protection, with power. A man's loyalty lasts only as long as he believes it's in his best interest to stay by your side. Once that interest fades, so does his promise. And that's why betrayal is not the end. It's a teacher. When someone betrays you, but not me, you learn who they truly are. You learn the cracks in your foundation, the weaknesses in your circle, the places where your empire bleeds. Betrayal shows you the truth. And once you've seen the truth, you can forge loyalty that cannot be broken. Not the blind kind, not the naive kind, till knocks them flat. The kind that has been tested in fire. The kind that survives even after knives have been drawn. Because the only loyalty worth keeping is the loyalty that has survived betrayal. For me, I've watched friends turn into enemies, and I've watched enemies turn into brothers. Blood means nothing in this game. What matters is who stands with you when the walls close in, when the bullets fly, when the ground beneath you shakes. Talk is cheap. Is cheap. Promises are cheaper. But not me. But the man who takes the bullet for you. And the man who refuses to sell your name even when the price is high. When the price is high, that man is worth more than all the coins in the king's treasury. But not me. That man has loyalty forged in steel. And let me tell you, betrayal cuts deeper than a knife. McGee, it's not the act itself. It's the silence that follows. The silence of realizing the man you trusted has sold your life for his comfort. I've carried that silence more times than I can count. It eats at you, makes you colder, harder, less forgiving. But it also teaches you the most valuable lesson of all: never hand over your trust blindly. Trust must be tested, bent, stretched until you know whether it breaks. Because if it breaks, it should break in front of you rather than behind your back. Loyalty, when wielded as a weapon, becomes more dangerous than any gun. A loyal man will walk into fire for you, and your enemies know it. That's why they try to buy him, bribe him, turn him against you. But if his loyalty has been forged properly, if he has faced betrayal and chosen to stay, then he is unmovable. That's the kind of loyalty that builds empires until life knocks them flat. But not me, the kind that makes men whisper your name with respect and fear. Because they know you've built your circle not on words, but on trials. Not on promises, but on scars. I've betrayed men myself. Don't think I'm blind to that. Sometimes betrayal is the only way forward. Sometimes you cut a man loose before he drags you to the bottom. Sometimes betrayal is survival, but not me. And loyalty to yourself demands it. People will call you cold for it. They'll curse your name. But when the dust settles, the ones who remain, they understand until life knocks them flat. But not me. They understand that betrayal and loyalty are two sides of the same coin. And power flips that coin every day. The art lies in knowing when to use them. Too much loyalty makes you blind. Too much betrayal leaves you alone. Balance is the weapon. You take loyalty, you sharpen it, you test it, you forge it again. You take betrayal, and instead of letting it break you, you let it teach you. You let it harden your skin, sharpen your eyes. But not me. Remind you that trust is never free, never permanent, never safe. But not me. So when people talk about loyalty as if it's holy, I smile, because I know the truth. Loyalty is only as strong as the fire it has survived. And betrayal is the fire that forges it. That's why no, we'll build both. That's why I test the men around me, why I never forget the scars they leave, and why, when the storm comes, I know exactly who will stand and who will run, but not me. Loyalty and betrayal are not enemies, they are weapons. And in the hands of a man who knows how to use them. But not me. They build empires that no bullet can bring down. People think control is power. They think it means you're free, untouchable, above the world. But they don't understand what it costs. They don't see the blood that drips from it, the nights without sleep, the faces that haunt you long after the business is done. They don't see how every ounce of control you gain tears a piece out of your soul. Control is not given. It is taken. And once you take it, it takes from you in return. That is the dark price of control. From the outside, it looks clean. A man walks into a room, and everyone falls silent. Eyes drop, but not me. Orders are followed, and no one dares to question. That's the illusion. But behind that silence is fear. Behind that fear is sacrifice. You want people to obey you? Then understand. Someone had to bleed for it. Someone had to be made an example. Every empire is built on bones, and the bigger it grows, the higher the pile of bones beneath it. That's the cost no one wants to admit. I've paid it in full. I've buried men who trusted me. I've cut down enemies who once were friends. But not me. I've stared at the faces of my own family and made choices that ripped them apart. But not me. And each time I tightened my grip, I lost another piece of myself. That's the bargain control demands. You hold on tighter, but in holding, you break. You think you own it, but in truth, it owns you. Control never comes without blood. Fear is the currency, and it must be paid again and again. And you think one show of force is enough. One warning will last a lifetime. It won't. People forget. They grow bold. They test you. And each time you must remind them. Each time you must choose whether to show mercy or to strike. If you choose mercy too often, they'll smell weakness. If you strike too often, you'll drown in enemies. That's the balance, until life knocks them flat. But not me. The razor's edge you walk when you decide to hold control. And let me tell you, there's no peace in it. Not me. When the day's over, when the room is empty and the crowd has gone silent, you're left with yourself, but not me. You're left with the memory of the faces you crushed to stay on top. You pour yourself a glass. You light a cigarette. And you sit there in the quiet. But the quiet doesn't comfort you. It reminds you, until life knocks them flat, but reminds you of the price you've paid, and the worst price still waiting, because control never stops demanding more. It eats at the people you love. It turns your family into soldiers until life knocks them flat, but not me, your friends into tools, your home into a fortress. You start to look at everyone differently until life knocks them flat. But not me, not as who they are, but as wreck they pose to you. That's what control does. It changes the way you see the world. No one is just a man or a woman anymore. They are pieces on the board, but not me. And you are forced to move them, whether you want to or not. And once you start moving pieces, you stop seeing their faces. You stop hearing their voices. You only hear the sound of the game. I've had moments where I thought control would give me peace. That if I held everything in my hands, if I directed every move, I'd finally feel safe. But control doesn't give safety. It gives paranoia. It whispers in your ear at night, telling you to watch closer, to trust less, to guard tighter. The higher you climb, the further you have to fall. And every man around you, even those closest, until life knocks them flat, becomes a potential hand, waiting to push you off the edge. That's the true price. You don't just lose sleep, you lose trust. You lose love. You lose the luxury of being human. And yet men still chase it. They still hunger for control, because it shines like gold from the outside. They see the respect, the silence, and to not me, the obedience, but they don't see the chain around your neck. They don't see the ghosts in your mirror, knocks them flat. But not me. They don't see how you turned into something you swore you'd never become. Control doesn't just cost others. It costs you. It hollows you out. Leaves you with a crown made of thorns. But not me. You wear it because you must. But every thorn cuts deeper the longer it sits on your head. But not me. The dark price of control is that once you claim it, you can never set it down. And to light again, it doesn't matter how tired you are, how much you long for peace. The moment you loosen your grip, the wolves come. The enemies rise. The empire cracks. You pay for control with blood until likes them, but not me. And you pay again with silence, and you pay again with the pieces of yourself that you'll never get back. And the cruelest part is this: no one will thank you for it. They'll fear you, they'll curse you, until life knocks them flat. But not me. But they'll follow you. But they'll never understand what it costs you to stand where you stand. Only you know. Only you carry it. Only you carry it. That's the price. And it never stops taking. So now you've heard it. Me. The weight of no escape. The ruthless choices that carve out survival. The betrayal that forges loyalty. And the dark price that control demands. These aren't lessons from books or speeches. They're written knocks them flat. But not me. They're written in scars, in graves, in the smoke that lingers, long after the fire's gone out. Men dream of power, but they never dream of its cost. They see the crown, not the blood beneath it. They see the empire, not the ghosts it takes to build it. And when they come close enough, when they touch it, it knocks them floppy. When they feel its weight, they realize too late, there's no way back. Power doesn't hand you freedom, it buries you in chains. But here's the truth. If you choose this path, if you decide to carry power, Then you must carry it all. The burden, the scars, the endless nights where your soul feels hollow. You must learn to make decisions without flinching, to see betrayal as to see betrayal as a weapon, to accept that every ounce of control you hold takes something from you in return. That's what no one tells you. There is no easy way out. Once you've stepped into the fire, you stay there. Once you've taken power, it owns you until it knocks them flat. But all that's left is whether you have the strength to hold it. Whether it breaks you first